Hello and welcome along to another one of my videos. Now today I'll be looking at 5 common myths about the moon landings and debunking them all, of course. Let's clear something up from the start. The Apollo landings are one of the most well documented events in human history, yet a few myths keep hanging around. So let's take 5 of the biggest ones and let's debunk them quickly and cleanly. Now, a lot of these come from a very human brain behavior where it is looking for patterns that don't actually exist to explain something, of course, get them to an outcome which they prefer. What we're going to use is a little bit of common sense to make a bit more sense of it. So, myth number 1, the flag was waving, so it must have been filmed on Earth as there is no wind on the moon. This one's actually quite easy. The flag didn't wave because of the wind. There is no wind on the moon. We know that much to be true. But NASA does require money from the government to fund its work. The moon travel work is a prime opportunity for NASA to take literally some of the most historic photos ever taken by mankind. So NASA, to help make this look even better, added a horizontal supporting rod to the flagpole so that the flag wouldn't hang limply. So when astronauts twisted the pole into the ground, the fabric kept moving due to the inertia of that interaction. And because there's no air resistance, this motion lasted longer than it would have on Earth. Once the astronauts let go of the flag stops. No flapping, there's no breeze, physics checks out fine. So myth number 2, there are no stars in the photos, it must be fake. There are stars, you just can't see them. Anyone that knows anything about photography knows exposure will make or break your picture. Apollo photos were taken with short exposure settings on the cameras. This is to properly expose the bright lunar surface and, of course, the white spacesuits the astronauts were wearing. Stars, of course, are much dimmer compared to these two things, so they don't show up in the photographs. Just like you photograph the sky from here on Earth with bright lights in the foreground, you won't see stars in the background. Try it yourself. Astronauts did report seeing the stars, of course, with their eyes. The cameras just weren't showing it because they weren't set for astrophotography. So, myth number 3, they couldn't survive the Van Allen belt, radiation. Okay, they of course did survive, they did. The Van Allen belts are regions, they're not solid walls of radiation. So Apollo missions took a number of actions to help avoid this. They passed through the thinnest parts of the Van Allen belt. They traveled through them as quickly as possible. They used shielded spacecraft. And they received radiation doses lower than a typical CT scan would be here on Earth. This was all calculated, measured, and confirmed before and after the missions. This included multiple space agencies independently agreeing on this. Myth number 4, the shadows don't line up, the studio lights are giving it away. This comes from a misunderstanding of perspective. On uneven terrain, parallel light rays, like sunlight, can produce shadows that appear to diverge or converge, especially when using wide-angle lenses. You can recreate again this effect on Earth yourself with a single light source, the sun. No studio required. Again, you can do this yourself. Try it. There's no evidence of the multiple light sources that are mentioned in these things, just uneven ground and the issue of camera optics. Myth number 5, NASA could have faked it, governments always lie. Now, governments lying before does not mean they lied here. This is something amongst conspiracy theorists is called genetic fallacy. Here's the problem with the hoax idea. 400,000 people from 20,000 different companies worked on Apollo. There were 6 successful landings, not just the famous one they always refer to. Moon rocks have been analysed worldwide, independently and confirmed. And there was independent tracking by the USSR, Australia, and many other nations. There are retro reflectors on the moon still, which the Earth uses to bounce lasers off and measure distance. Now, If the hoax was to be true, surely during a Cold War, the USSR would have been all over this, showing evidence of the hoax, but they weren't. The reality is, it happened, it's been verified by multiple independent sources, and we have so much information and data to confirm this. It's important to remember for these conspiracy theories that they rely on a number of things from the people watching or listening to them. They are relying on misunderstanding physics. They're relying on them using incomplete information. They're relying on them just assuming deception is a reason to believe it over evidence. But when you look closely, the science holds up every single time. The moon landings weren't fake. They were real and impressive enough for people to struggle to believe or understand how it was done. Personal incredulity is not evidence, nor is it proof of something else. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things, and see you next time.